Okay, hey YouTube. Today I wanted to make a video on the White Forest test hands. So I want to do some test hands just to show you guys what some of the hands for my personal deck list would look like, and also some of the thoughts I have on why I would make the decisions I would make. Obviously, what I do depends on the type of deck I'm facing, but I felt like this would be a good idea to kind of just showcase what I'm what I'm thinking about when I'm playing. So yeah, let's do some quick shuffles here. Yeah, the deck for the most part is still the same build as my most recent board breaker version, or my most recent deck profile on my channel. I believe it should say on my channel the updated version. I'm still using that build. There's one change in the extra deck that we'll almost certainly get to, but we'll get there when we get there, and we almost certainly will. So first hand, we got Thrust, Tactics, Tails, Thrust, Map. So this is one of those hands that's going to be, not the most incredible, but it definitely does mean that at least if we do get some sort of like interaction on our searches, we're gonna have thrusts and talents to do stuff. But obviously not the strongest hand, but we can still obviously combo because we have Map. And this is one of the reasons I really like Map, because it's if all else fails, it's gonna get us to our combo. Let's get our QCR. Excuse me. So we're first going to use Map in our main phase 1 to search for a Stellar. So if they droll us here, we can still do a number of things. We can do a hand rip, and we can set the woes. So there's still things that we're going to be able to do if we get interacted with. But doing test hands, we're just going to go and pretend we're not getting interacted with, although that is not going to happen in your tournament. So it's good to know where your combos can go. It's also good to know how to play out your combos if they do get interrupted. So we're going to go Stellar Effect, sending the Tails. We can move the Graveyard over here just a bit, and we're going to summon out, where is it, a Sylvie. We're going to go Chainlink 1 Sylvie, Chainlink 2 Tails. Tails will reset. Apologies, I don't have the biggest setup, so hopefully maybe I can move this a bit, get more stuff on screen. There we go. So we're going to set the Tails, and then we're going to search for woes because we already have the Tails. Then what we can do is we can synchro these into, where is it? Our Cilia. And we can use the effect, sending the woes for cost. And let's see, at this point, let's see what could we get here? I think we should get, so we could get a Veiler if we want some interactions. We could also get, let's see, where is it? Iris, Sword Soul. Excuse me. So I think if we're not getting interrupted, then it's likely our opponent either only has board breakers or that they didn't draw hand traps, which means they just have like combo pieces. So at this point, I think it's safest to go for like for the Iris Sword Soul line, because just one Veiler is not necessarily as impactful as what we can get with this. But anyway, on res, we'll use woes as Chainlink. Actually, we'll do a Stellar, Chainlink 1 to summon, and woes as Chainlink 2 to set. We'll set this over here. And then we do have a Map Engrave that we can add back, but we don't really, that's not really a card we want to add back. So before we synchro, we're going to search. I'll do the searching on camera. We'll search for, I want the QCR, so I only have one QCR of each right now. Hopefully I can pick up some more. I don't really want to order them online. I will if I have to, but hopefully I can find someone more local who has them. And yeah, so we can do that search. Then we can go into our Diabell, and Diabell can add back the tails. This is a much better card to want to add back. Excuse me. So at this point, we could get rid of the tails again, but because we have 2 thrusts, that's going to be a little more useful to get rid of, because we can keep the tails for next turn or to send off of Diabell, which we're just going to get back instantly. So we'll use Elzette's effect, sending one of our thrusts, and we will search. And we will get the Rusia. Hopefully the Rusia and the Sylvie get OTS supers soon. I think they definitely deserve them. I mean, probably Sylvie will be the first one that she'd probably get it. Woes maybe a close second. Rusia might have to wait her turn for a rarity upgrade, but yeah, that's a whole nother story for another day. Anyway, so we can go Rusia. So at this point, we can go Rusia effects. Now, at this point, it's not really a big deal for us to get the draw 1, but we're still going to do it anyway. So we have a Woes, we have a Talents, we have a Thrust. I think at this point, if we're not interacted with, we can get rid of the Thrust. Actually, no, sorry, we could get rid of the Talents, because if our opponent does have a nib and waits to nib us, then what we can do is we can actually just thrust for Talents again if we really need to. So we can get rid of this if we haven't used it already to draw a card. Toy Soldier, that's actually not a bad draw, but it is not going to be able to be used in actually, no, we won't set it yet. It's not going to be able to be used in this turn because we've used all of our effects that need to send them. But for now, we can, let's see, what can we do? We'll do Sylvie effect, reborning it, putting back Lucilia. And now this is something that people don't know, is that you can actually make, where is it? Visas Amritara with 2 tuners, 2 level 4 tuners. It just says 1 tuner, 1+ tuners plus 1 light monster. So that's something to keep in mind for this. So we are going to make that, but first, while we have a negated monster on field, we will summon out. It's a bit of a tight stretch. Apologies for not having the biggest setup, but maybe in the future I can find a better way to do this. But so we'll summon the Iris Sword Soul because we have a negated monster on field. Then we can use these 2 for Visas Amritara. Visas Amritara will search for our, where is it? Counter Trap. I'm a big fan of this. I know it's like not the best card to draw going second, but the number of cards, that are technically, that are technically bricks in this deck are very, very few. So, and the ones that are bricks, other than this, that you don't really want to draw, aren't the worst cards in the world to draw, if that makes sense. They're just not the most ideal cards to have. So, yeah, I like playing this. So we'll do this, and we'll make this here because of space. We won't put it in the extra monster zone, but we can make Hope Harbinger. And then, oops, throwing cards all over the place. Then let's move this. Then we can set the reframing and the Toy Soldier, which we can send off Diabell to get into more stuff next turn. So it's perfectly fine to leave the Elzette on field here. And in fact, it's actually kind of good because it means that our Woes is just already, we can already have access to our Book of Moon without having to activate any cards or have other monsters get on field. So we have this, which kind of represents a Book of Eclipse, essentially. We have an Omni Negate, this, which can get us a Search for Toy Box, which can help us combo during our next turn. Elzette, which when we do summon the Silvera from our extra deck, we'll be able to add it back to our hand. This can send this to summon a Tuner Synchro, so we can summon like Zapper Shrimp. We can also summon just a Silvera if we want a Book of Eclipse that way too. And then if we do summon Zapper Shrimp, we can use this and this to summon into a Chaos Angel and banish another card. And then we have a Spell Trap Negate with Tails and Thrust still in hand. So it was a bit of a, not the best hand in the world, but you know, definitely a hand that's still playable and can still get us to quite a bit of stuff. So yeah, let's shuffle on up and do another one. I'm hoping to get at least one one playable hand with Toy Tank or the Toy Engine with the Toy Engine at least, because the Toy Engine is really strong. And yeah, I think this deck is just so fun. The synergy between the toys and the White Forest cards is like really good. It's one of those decks where it's like you're not feeling like you're forcing these cards together. You're actually having a good, like really positive outcome from blending different engines, which is always like really cool and really fun. So there we go. Toy Box, Sylvie, Veiler, Tails, Cosmic. So if we were going second, we'd also draw this. But yeah, so this is also kind of a good thing to show off because we didn't open an LZ or a Stellar, which is like the best way, but I can still show you, you can still combo off very easily with just normal summoning Sylvie. And even in this hand, if they Imperm or Ash the Sylvie, we still have the Tails already to combo. So this hand will actually eat a hand trap or two. So first I would actually normal Sylvie first without placing the Toy Box, because we don't want to give our opponents as little knowledge as possible. So Sylvie effects, because we already have Tails, we'll search for woes. We don't really need to shuffle right now, at least. Then we can activate Toy Box. Let's move this up a bit. And then we can Toy Box effects. We can place a soldier and a tank. The fact that we can place two is like really good. And this with like Droplet, you activate this, set two, and then you have Droplet send pretty much as many cards as you want. So negate a full board is like really good. So then we're going to go for Tails, and we're going to search for our LZ. Put this over to the side here. Then we can go LZ's effect, sending. Oh, yeah, apologies, my tripod's pretty close to me. We'll use it, sending Toy Soldier. And we can search for, we can do a number of things here, but we can actually search for, well, what can we search for here? We can search for an Stellar. I want the QCR. And then, let's move this over here. And then we can use Toy Soldier to summon, and then Toy Soldier effects on field will get us the Rusia, because it's a level 4 light, which is crazy. Okay, so this is normally, if this was a Stellar and we had searched the LZ, we would be able to do this technically Nibiru proof, but because we have it this way, if we go into our Nibiru combo, geez, apologies. This is not how I wanted this to go, but okay, hopefully this is gonna work. So we're gonna go into our, where is it? Rusilia. And And we're gonna go Resillia effect, sending the toy tank. Switch out the Iris Sword Soul, and then toy tank effect to summon. Now the toy tank is how we're going to get our a stellar out onto the field. So we can go toy tank, summon a stellar effects. We can send, let's see, we can send, it's not really gonna matter. We'll send toy. Yeah, we'll send the toy box, and we can summon out another Sylvie. It just gets us another body, which is nice. Then we can go for these two into Diabell. And Diabell can use its effect, adding back the toy box. This is also not once per turn, or a hard once per turn, it's once per copy. So we can now activate it and set the cards again, which is really crazy. Really good. Now here, because we want to get the stellar summon, we're going to go Resillia and then shuffle up a sec. Also, it's important to know when you're using these effects, when you set toy soldier or toy tank that you can set themselves or off toy box, it's important to know that when you send them, they don't trigger things like a stellar, which can summon if you send a spell trap to graveyard to activate a monster effect. Because once they hit the graveyard, they're instantly recognized as a monster and not a spell and trap. So it's important to know that you have to send an actual spell and trap to get like a stellar reborn effect. So we're going to use the effects, sending the Woes to draw a card, which is not a bad draw actually. And then we'll use Woes Chainlink 1 and Stellar Chainlink 2 to summon. Here we can go, doesn't really matter, we'll go with these. And this is going to be the thing I'm trying out. So I'm going to try out the Dragoon package instead of the Gen X. I think Dragoon is just a much more, what's the best way? It can negate a lot more different things. Like the Gen X is very specifically light and sometimes, and light and dark monsters essentially, and occasionally a fire. But that's not as good as like a generic just Omni negate. So we're gonna do Money Mud Dragon effects, fusing with these two to make Albion, and then Albion effect, banish these two again to make the dreaded Dragoon. One thing to note is that if you are playing Bystials and you have a Bystial in grave, you can actually leave this on field as a level 8 or just a body, which is actually pretty nice, and just banish this and the Bystial from grave. So that's actually a really nice thing. So if you play Bystials in the main, which I'm really thinking about it, putting them in the main, taking out the Drolls, putting the Drolls back in the side. So I don't know if I'm still going to do that, but it's something I'm certainly thinking of. Now we are going to use Sylvie's effects Engrave to Reborn to put back the Resillia to summon out. Now we have a negated monster. We can summon the Iris Sword Soul. And then these two, once again, are going to go into our, where is it? Visas Amritara. Use this effect. Search for the reframing, and then use these two and summon a Hope Harbinger. And as you can see, this is already a ridiculous going first hand. We'll use Toy Box and we'll set another Toy Tank, and we'll set the Toy Soldier, or sorry, we'll set Toy Soldier from deck, Toy Tank from grave. So, actually, you know what? We're actually not going to set the tank because I just realized we have so many cards here. Depending on what we want, We actually might not even... Just thinking about it, we might not even actually want to do this. Okay, depending on what you're playing against, this is where you can make a decision whether it's not that big a deal to have a Cyclone or a Droplet, or like maybe even the Woes, although I like to make sure I usually have the Woes there. But I think for sure we'll set the Reframing, and then we'll set the Woes and the Droplet. If you're going first, if you're being made to go first, I'd probably set the Cyclone, just in case there's like, it's Tempai, so you can hit the field spell. You also have Veiler in hand, you have an Omni Negate, this which summons a Zapper Shrimp, a Spell Negate, and Omni Negate. Like, you know, this is not an easy board to crack. So yeah, I don't know many decks who would be able to break this, if really any. So yeah, quite the hand. So let's shuffle this up and do one more. It would be really nice if I could do like going second test hands, but the thing is like when you're going second, you don't have a board to really practice breaking, and it doesn't really help to just go after the exact same board every time and to practice breaking just the same board, because what if your opponent makes something different, or what if they open like, you know, half combo or not full combo, or they decided to switch up their game plan for game 3. You know, it really depends. So I think going first test hands are a little more important, although going second test hands would be super beneficial. But alas. So, okay, last test hand. We have Elzette, Toy Box, Toy Soldier, Cosmic, and then another Elzette. So going second, we would draw another card, Tails, which is not a bad card, but we don't have a lot of ways to break our opponent's board going second, but going first we still have some decent stuff. So let's see here. I think here we're going to first activate Toy Box and use Toy Box effect to set, let's see, where is it? Set Toy Soldier and a Toy Tank. You get so much advantage from this deck just so easily, which is really nice, because, you know, getting these cards on field doesn't require you to play into Droll, which is really nice. So if I can make my first action Elzette, which is gonna send the Toy Soldier. Let's put it over here. And because we haven't used our normal summon, we can get, I want the QCR. There we go, we can get the Stellar. And then Toy Soldier effects a summon. And if we do get Drolled, we can still normal the Stellar and use its effect to summon from deck and get, you know, and send this and get this, the Toy Tank as well. So we can still have a decent board into Droll here. So then we're gonna use Toy Soldier's effects. We're gonna search for the Rusia. Let's see, where is it? There it is. And let's see here. Now, let's think here. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna decide to play around Nibiru. So I'm going to, because we haven't used our normal summon, I'm going to use the effects of Rusia to summon, and I don't need to, but I think it would be fine to use this effect to send the Cyclone, because we can add it back to draw one. So we get a Droplet, which is pretty nice. Yeah, then we're going to go with these two. We're going to go into Mighty Muddragon, use the effects. Some of the Albion effect. This is the, I believe, yeah, this is the 5th summon. If they nib here, it doesn't really matter because you're just it's just gonna tribute this, and you're just gonna banish these from your graveyard anyway. So even though it's technically this is technically the 6th summon, it still plays through Nibiru. You just get an extra token on your board. So yeah, not a big deal. So we have that. Now we can normal summon the Esteller. Use the Esteller effect, sending the toy tank. We can, oh, hopefully that's the last time I bump my camera. We'll go into Sylvie, and then we'll do Sylvie, Chainlink 1 to search, toy tank, Chainlink 2 to summon. We don't need to search for Tails because we already went through all of our monsters, and Tails unfortunately only searches for White Forest monsters. It doesn't search for spellcasters, which would be a really cool kind of like way to mesh different things, but unfortunately it doesn't. But we're going to search for the woes. Then we're going to go these two into, let's see here, Resillia. Can use Resilia's effect, sending the woes. We're going to search for, depending on what you're playing against, you can search for Veiler, but I almost always like to search for the Iris Sword Soul. Then we can trigger woes and Esteller to rewarn. Set the woes. And then we can go these two into our Diabell. And Diabell can add us back the Cosmic that we sent. Then we can use Sylvia of the White Forest, put back Resillia, and then because we have a negated monster, so not the Iris Sword Soul, you know, this is going into a very similar play at this point. Go into Visas Amritara, search for Reframing, and then these two can make the Hope Harbinger. So at this point, what is this? We have a woes, we have a Reframing, we have a Cosmic, and we have a Forbidden Droplet that we can set here. I'll keep them all face up so you can see. We also have a toy tank that we could set. Again, depending if I know my opponent is on something that Droplet wouldn't really work well with, or that Cosmic wouldn't really work with. Cosmic is one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I think I'm fine with keeping this in my hand and maybe setting a toy soldier. But at the end of the day, it's also fine to just play these and not have the bonus off of the Diabell, because next turn this is already, the cards left in my hand are already pretty much full combo. So, and we're gonna add an LZ back to our hand as well during our opponent's turn. So this is not bad at all, because the LZ we're gonna discard for Dragoon, and we're just gonna add the other one back whenever we summon a spellcaster tuner. So yeah, that's a pretty strong board. I mean, even with the first hand, it wasn't a particularly crazy hand, but it can still make just crazy stuff. And even like I was showing you with this hand, like even cards like Droll wouldn't really even do that much. Ash wouldn't even really do all that much. It would maybe get us a bit less, but you know, I think this deck is just really strong. Cards like Shifter are just really, really tough, but this is the kind of deck with, once you build a board with all these cards and negates and interactions, you're just off to the races. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Got this just under half an hour. Hopefully it's not been too tedious to watch, and it's been interesting. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd be more than happy to keep discussing this deck. I really enjoy this deck. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's become my little like pet deck that I really like and have had a lot of fun with. So hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.